What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? Computer wiles are all over. Let me arrange this first. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. This is Sun Go, the Korean bro. Today I want to start my daily life with organic juice. Organic juice. Uh, just like yesterday, just like the rest of the days, uh, I worked out, and after workout, I went to convenience store and look for something new. And look what I found. It looks so tiny, so I just picked it up and brought it here. Look how small this is compared to my hand. It's this small. It looks so cute, so I grab it. It's about a $1.50. It says it's organic, and it's a mixture of orange, mango, and pumpkin. I know pumpkin, it's so out of blue, but yeah. Anyway, it's organic, a mixture of good stuff. I want to drink something healthy, so I picked it up. So let's move on and let's try this. Okay, $1.50. I wonder if it worth that much. Wait. Oh, all gone. 10 second. Mm. It tastes good, but I warn you, if you are a heavy eater, you better get like 100 of these or like a lot of them. Otherwise, you'll be really hungry after drinking this. Oh, it's so small amount. Anyway, today's menu, mm, organic, organic juice, good stuff. Okay, Alice in the Wonderland. I'm at the page 132, and I'm going to read this again for 30 minutes for sure this time. Like these days, I've been reading this for 25 minutes or 27 minutes because of things that I had to do. It was really important, but no excuse this time because it's a promise that I have to keep myself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I have to adjust my posture. Okay, anyway, everything's good. And okay. Alice did not much like keeping so close to her. First, because the Duchess was very ugly, and secondly, because she was exactly the right height to rest her chin upon Alice's shoulder. And it was an uncomfortably sharp chin. However, she did not like to be rude, so she bore it as well as she could. The game's going on rather better now, she said, by way of keeping up the conversation a little. This so, said the Duchess, and the moral of that is, oh, this love that makes the world go round. Somebody said, Alice whispered, that it's done by everybody minding their own business. Oh, well, it means much the same thing, said the Duchess, digging her sharp little chin into Alice's shoulder as she added. And the moral of that is, take care of the sense, and the sounds will take care of themselves. How fond she is of finding morals in things, Alice thought to herself. I dare say you are wondering why I don't put my arm round your waist, said the Duchess after a pause. The reason is that I'm doubtful about the temper of your flamingo. Shall I try the experiment? He might bite, Alice cautiously replied, not feeling at all anxious to have the experiment tried. Very true, said the Duchess. Flamingos and mustard both bite. And the moral of that is birds of a feather flock together. Only mustard isn't a bird, Alice remarked. Right as usual, said the Duchess. What a clear way you have of putting things. It's a mineral, I think, said Alice. Of course it is, said the Duchess, who seemed ready to agree to everything that Alice said. There's a large mustard mine near here, and the moral of that is the more there is of mine, the less there is of yours. Oh, I know, exclaimed Alice, who had not attended to this last remark. It's a vegetable. It doesn't look like one, but it is. I quite agree with you, said the Duchess. And the moral of that is be what you would seem to be, or if you'd like it put more simply, never imagine yourself not to be otherwise than what it might appear to others. That what you were or might have been was not otherwise, then what you have been would have appeared to them to be otherwise. I think I should understand that better. Alice said very politely, if I had it written down, but I can't quite follow it as you say it. That's nothing to what I could say if I chose. The Duchess replied in a pleased tone. Pray, don't trouble yourself to say it any longer than that, said Alice. Oh, don't talk about trouble, said the Duchess. I make you a present of everything I've said as yet. A cheap sort of present, thought Alice. I'm glad they don't give birthday presents like that. But she did not venture to say it out loud. Thinking again, the Duchess asked, with another dig of her sharp little chin. I've a right to think, said Alice sharply, for she was beginning to feel a little worried. Just about as much right, said the Duchess, as pigs have to fly and the But here, to Alice's great surprise, the Duchess's voice died away, even in the middle of her favorite word moral, and the arm that was linked into hers began to tremble. Alice looked up, and there stood the Queen in front of them, with her arms folded, frowning like a thunderstorm. A fine day, your majesty, the Duchess began in a low, weak voice. Now I give you fair warning, shouted the Queen, stamping on the ground as she spoke. Either you or your head must be off, and that in about half no time. Take your choice. The Duchess took her choice, and was gone in a moment. Let's go on with the game, the Queen said to Alice. And Alice was too much frightened to say a word, but slowly followed her back to the croquet ground. The other guests had taken advantage of the Queen's absence and were resting in the shade. However, the moment they saw her, they hurried back to the game, the Queen merely remarking that a moment's delay would cost them their lives. All the time they were playing, the Queen never left off quarreling with the other players and shouting, off with his head or off with her head. Those whom she sentenced were taken into custody by the soldiers, who of course had to leave off being archers to do this, so that by the end of half an hour or so there were no archers left, and all the players, except the king, the queen, and Alice, were in custody and under sentence of execution. Then the queen left off, quite out of breath, and said to Alice, have you seen the mock turtle yet? No, said Alice. I don't even know what a mock turtle is. It's the thing mock turtle soup is made from, said the queen. I never saw one or heard of one, said Alice. Come on then, said the queen, and he shall tell you his story. History. As they walked off together, Alice heard the king say in a low voice, to the company generally, "You're all pardoned. Come, that's a good thing," she said to herself, for she had felt quite unhappy at the number of executions the queen had ordered. They very soon came upon a griffin lying fast asleep in the sun. "Up, lazy thing," said the queen, "and take this young lady to see the mock turtle, and to hear his history. I must go back and see after some executions I have ordered." And she walked off, leaving Alice alone with the griffin. Alice did not quite like the look of the creature, but on the whole she thought it would be quite as safe to stay with it as to go after that savage queen, so she waited. The griffin sat up and rubbed its eyes, and then it watched the queen till she was out of sight. Then it chuckled. "What fun," said the griffin, half to itself, half to Alice. "What is the fun?" said Alice. "Why, she," said the griffin. "It's all her fancy. That they never executes nobody, you know. Come on." "Everybody says 'come on' here," thought Alice, as she went slowly after it. "I never was so ordered about before in all my life, never." They had not gone far before they saw the mock turtle in the distance, sitting sad and lonely on a little ledge of rock, and as they came nearer, Alice could hear him sighing as if his heart would break. She pitied him deeply. "What is his sorrow?" she asked the griffin, and the griffin answered, very nearly in the same words as before, "It's all his fancy, that. He hasn't got no sorrow, you know. Come on." Oh, hello. Two people are watching. I don't know who you guys are, but thanks for coming in. By the way, just to let you know, I've been reading the book. The book is called Alice in the Wonderland. Uh, I'm halfway through, and I'm at the page 140. Hmm. Little introduction. Uh, and before I read this book, today I drank something new, organic juice. Just so you know. Uh, I know you missed it. It's unfortunate, but let me show you what this is. I drank this. This is what I found in the convenience store. It looks so cute, looks so tiny, so I grabbed it, and there it is. It's organic, so something healthy, something new. Anyway, going back to reading the book. So they went up to the mock turtle. One said the mock turtle at last with a deep sigh, "I was a real turtle." These words were followed by a very long silence, broken only by an occasional exclamation of "er" from the griffin, and the constant heavy sobbing of the mock turtle. Alice was very nearly getting up and saying, "Thank you, sir, for your interesting story." But she could not help thinking there must be more to come, so she sat still and said nothing. "When we were little," the mock turtle went on at last, more calmly, though still sobbing a little now and then, "we went to school in the sea. The master was an old turtle. We used to call him tortoise." Okay, tortoise. Okay, why did you call him tortoise if he wasn't one? Alice asked. "We called him tortoise because he taught us," said the mock turtle angrily. "Really, you are very dull. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for asking such a simple question," added the griffin, and then they both sat saddened and looked at poor Alice, who felt ready to sink into the earth. At last the griffin said to the mock turtle, "Drive on, old fellow. Don't be all day about it." And he went on in these words. Yes, we went to school in the sea, though you mayn't believe it. I never said I didn't, interrupted Alice. You did, said the Mock Turtle. Hold your tongue, added the Gryphon. Before Alice could speak again, the Mock Turtle went on. We had the best of educations. In fact, we went to school every day. Okay, Mock Turtle. Okay. I've been to a day school too, said Alice. You needn't be so proud as all that. What extras? Asked the Mock Turtle a little anxiously. Yes, said Alice. We learn French and music. And washing, said the Mock Turtle. Certainly not, said Alice indignantly. Ah, then yours wasn't a really good school, said the Mock Turtle in a tone of great relief. Now at ours, they had at the end of the bill French music and a washing extra. You couldn't have wanted it much, said Alice. Living at the bottom of the sea. I couldn't afford to learn it, said the Mock Turtle with a sigh. I only took the regular course. What was that? Inquired Alice. Reeling everything, of course, to begin with, the Mock Turtle replied. And then the different branches of arithmetic, ambition, distraction, uglification, and derision. Okay, something popped up into my head. Now I'm reading a fairy tale, but next time, after I'm done with this book, I'm planning to read horror stories. Like something scary, because I love reading scary books. Hmm. I know it's still out of blue, but it just popped up into my head. I never heard of uglification. Even Alice ventured to say, "What is it?" The Griffin lifted up both its paws in surprise. "Never heard of uglifying?" it exclaimed. "You know what to beautify is, I suppose." "Yes," said Alice doubtfully. "It means to make anything prettier." Well, then the Griffin went on. "If you don't know what to uglify is, you are a simpleton." Alice did not feel encouraged to ask any more questions about it, so she turned to the Mock Turtle and said, "What else had you to learn?" "Well, there was mystery," the Mock Turtle replied, counting off the subjects on his flappers. "Mystery, ancient, modern, with seagraphy." Okay, bunch of words that I don't know. Then drawing. The drawing master was an old conjuror ill. They used to come once a week. He taught us drawing, scratching, and fainting in coils. "What was like that?" said Alice. "Well, I can't show it you myself," the Mock Turtle said. "I'm too stiff." And the Griffin never learnt it. "Hadn't time," said the Griffin. "I went to the classical master, though. He wasn't all crap, he was. I never went to him." The Mock Turtle sat with a sigh. "He taught learning and griff," they used to say. So he did," said the Griffin, sighing in his turn, and both creatures hid their faces in their paws. "And how many hours a day did you do lessons?" said Alice, in a hurry to change the subject. 10 hours the first day," said the Mock Turtle. 9 the next, and so on. "What a curious plan!" exclaimed Alice. "That's the reason they're called lessons," the Griffin remarked, "because they lesson from day to day." This was quite a new idea to Alice, and she thought it over a little before she made her next remark. "Then the 11th day must have been a holiday." "Of course it was," said the Mock Turtle. "And how did you manage on the 12th?" Alice went on eagerly. "That's enough about lessons," the Griffin interrupted in a very decided tone. "Tell her something about the games now." The lobster quadrille, okay? The Mock Turtle sighed deeply and drew the back of one flapper across his eyes. He looked at Alice and tried to speak, but for a minute or two sobs choked his voice. "Same as if he had a bone in his throat," said the Griffin, and it set to work shaking him and punching him in the back. At last, the Mock Turtle recovered his voice, and with tears running down his cheeks, he went on again. You may not have lived much under the sea, and perhaps you were never even introduced to a lobster. So you can have no idea what a delightful thing a lobster quadrille is. No, indeed, said Alice. What sort of dance is it? Why, said the Gryphon, you first form into a line along the seashore. Two lines, cried the Mock Turtle. Seals, turtles, salmon, and so on. Then, when you've cleared all the jellyfish out of the way, that generally takes some time, interrupted the Gryphon. You advance twice, each with a lobster as a partner, cried the Gryphon. Of course, the Mock Turtle said. Advance twice, set two partners, change the lobsters, and retire in same order, continued the Gryphon. Then you know the Mock Turtle went on. You throw the lobster, shouted the Gryphon, with a bound into the air. As far out to sea as you can. Swim after them, screamed the Gryphon. Turn a somersault in the sea, cried the Mock Turtle, capering wildly about. Change the lobsters again, yelled the Gryphon at the top of its voice. Back to land again, and that's all the first figure, said the Mock Turtle. Sunny dropping his voice, and the two creatures who had been jumping about like mad things all this time sat down again very sadly and quietly and looked at Alice. It must be a very pretty dance, said Alice timidly. Would you like to see a little of it? Said the Mock Turtle. Very much indeed, said Alice. Come, let's try the first figure, said the Mock Turtle to the Gryphon. We can't do it without lobsters, you know. Which shall sing? Which shall sing? Oh, you sing, said the Gryphon. I've forgotten the words. So they began solemnly dancing round and round Alice, every now and then treading on her toes when they passed close, and waving their forepaws to mark the time, while the Mock Turtle sang this very slowly and sadly. Okay, lullaby, 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 lullaby. Thank you, thank you. It's a very interesting dance to watch, said Alice, feeling very glad that it was over at last. And I do so like that curious song about the white thing. Oh, as to the white thing or what thing, I don't know how I can pronounce it. Said the Mock Turtle. You've seen them, of course. Yes, said Alice. I've often seen them at dinner. She checked herself harshly. I don't know where Dean may be, said the Mock Turtle. But if you've seen them so often, of course you know what they're like. I believe so, Alice replied thoughtfully. They have their tails in their mouth, and they're all over crumbs. You're wrong about the crumbs, said the Mock Turtle. Crumbs would all wash off in the sea, but they have their tails in their mouth. And the reason is, here the Mock Turtle yawned and shut his eyes. Tell her about the reason and all that, he said to the Gryphon. The reason is, said the Gryphon, that they would go with the lobsters to dance, so they got thrown out to the sea. So they had to fall a long way. So they got their tails fast in their mouth. So they couldn't get them out again, that's all. Thank you. Thank you, said Alice. It's a very interesting. I never knew so much about a whiting before. I can tell you more than that if you like, said the Gryphon. Do you know why it's a called a whiting? I never thought about it, said Alice. Why? So far, 25 minutes, 5 more minutes to go. It does the boots and shoes, the Gryphon replied very solemnly. Alice was awfully puzzled. Does the boots and shoes? She repeated in a wondering tone. Why? What are your shoes done with? And said the Griffin. I mean, what makes them so shiny? Alice looked down at them and considered a little before she gave her answer. They're done with blacking, I believe. Boots and shoes under the sea. The Griffin went on in a deep voice. Are done with whiting. Now you know. And what are they made of? Alice asked in a tone of great curiosity. Soles and eels, of course, the Griffin replied rather impatiently. Any shrimp could have told you that. If I'd been the whiting, said Alice, whose thoughts were still running on the song, I'd have said to the porpoise, keep back, please. We don't want you with us. They were obliged to have him with them, the Mock Turtle said. No wise fish would go anywhere without a porpoise. Wouldn't it really? Said Alice in a tone of great surprise. Of course not, said the Mock Turtle. Why, if a fish came to me and told me he was going a journey, I should say, with what porpoise? Don't you mean purpose? Said Alice. I mean what I say, the Mock Turtle replied in an offended tone. And the Griffin added, come, let's hear some of your adventures. I could tell my adventures beginning from this morning, said Alice a little timidly, but it's no use going back to yesterday because I was a different person then. Explain all that, and the Mock Turtle. No, no, the adventures first, said the Griffin in an impatient tone. Explanations take such a dreadful time. So Alice began telling them her adventures. From the time when she first saw the white rabbit, she was a little nervous about it just at first. The two creatures got so close to her, one on each side, and opened their eyes and mouths so very wide. But she gained courage as she went on. Her listeners were perfectly quiet till she got to the part about her repeating, "You're old, Father William," to the caterpillar, and the words all coming different. And then the Mock Turtle drew a long breath and said, "That's a very curious. It's all about as curious as it can be," said the Griffin. It all came different, the Mock Turtle repeated thoughtfully. I should like to hear her try, and repeat some now. Tell her to begin. He looked at the Griffin as if he thought it had some kind of authority over Alice. Stand up and repeat. "'Tis the voice of the slugger," said the Griffin. How the creatures order one about and make one repeat lessons, thought Alice. I might just as well be at school at once. However, she got up and began to repeat it, but her head was so full of the lobster quadrille that she hardly knew what she was saying, and the words came very queer indeed. That's different from what I used to say. That's different from what I used to say when I was a child, said the Griffin. Well, I never heard it before, said the Mock Turtle, but it sounds uncommon nonsense. Alice said nothing. She had sat down again with her face in her hands, wondering if anything would ever happen in a natural way again. I should like to have it explained, said the Mock Turtle. She can't explain it, said the Griffin harshly. Go on with the next verse. But about his toes? The Mock Turtle persisted. How could he turn them out? With his nose, you know. It's the first position in dancing, Alice said. But she was dreadfully puzzled by the whole thing and longed to change the subject. Go on with the next verse, the Griffin repeated impatiently. It begins, I passed by his garden. Alice did not dare to disobey, though she felt sure it would all come wrong, and she went on in a trembling voice. Okay, today was really hard because I've been reading for quite long. One person is watching, like some few people are keep coming on and off. Hmm. At some point, 5 people came here. Anyway, it's the end of today, and thanks for watching. I'm going to see you tomorrow. Bye bye.